I might need to move to Atlantis.
What we learned from Real Madrid 1, Chelsea 1, a tactical analysis. For cheap good quality football jerseys, go over to www.jerseyfifa.com, a link will be left in the description, and use code atlantisfootball to get 5% off. Before I get into the analysis, let me show you what's coming up in this video whilst I tell you about the OneFootball app, because this is the app I use to keep up to date with the latest circulating transfer rumours, and I find the match section on the app incredibly useful as well for looking at matches, clubs and players that I'm not able to watch on a regular basis. If you like this channel, you'll definitely love this app, so when you go to subscribe to the channel, if you enjoy the content, which would be very much appreciated, make sure you click the link in the description to get the OneFootball app. So going into the game, Zidane lined up his side in a 3-5-2 shape with Courtois in goal, a back three of Varane, Nacho and Militao, with Carvajal and Marcelo playing as the wing-backs. Casemiro, Modric and Kroos were the three in midfield, with Vinicius starting in an advanced position alongside Benzema. Tuchel used a 3-4-3 shape, with Mendy in goal, a back three of Rudiger and Christensen, either side of Thiago Silva, with Kante and Jorginho playing as a midfield double pivot. Azpilicueta and Chilwell played as the wing-backs, with Mount and Pulisic playing just off of Werner. So the pattern of the game from the start was Madrid controlling possession with Chelsea sitting deep. Real were using a 3-4-2-1 shape in possession, with the back three stretching out, giving Madrid the ability to circulate the ball wide of Chelsea's front two, whilst Kroos and one of Casemiro or Modric would hold deeper positions in central midfield, whilst the other would push up between the lines. Carvajal would keep the advanced width on the right, but on the left we would often see Marcelo moving infield, playing as an inverted wing back, with Vinicius sitting high and wide on the left flank. Chelsea looked to drop into a 5-3-2 defensive shape and would allow Madrid's centre-backs to have the ball in their defensive third. Mount dropped in alongside Jorginho and Kante to allow Chelsea to go 3v3 against Modric, Casemiro and Kroos, whilst Werner and Pulisic would sit as a front two. In possession, we would see Chelsea move to a 3-2-4-1 shape, with Jorginho and Kante playing as the double pivot in midfield, and then Pulisic and Mount ahead of them, looking to position themselves in the half spaces in behind Madrid's midfield, with Werner taking up a more central position as a lone striker, and the width was provided by the wing-backs who would push high up the pitch. Madrid out of possession were defending in a 5-4-1 shape with a narrow midfield four, but we would see them move to a 5-3-2 on occasion when Vinicius would push up alongside Benzema to press Christensen. So essentially both sides were looking to match each other's possession shape with their respective defensive shapes. Madrid's back three meant that the wide centre-backs could push out to close down Mount and Pulisic in the half spaces, whilst the wing-backs could stay wider than they otherwise would be able to in the back four, which would then close down the space for Chelsea's wing-backs. But most importantly, the back five allowed both sides to play with a narrow front five, Chelsea's in a 3-2 pentagon shape, and Madrid's moving from a wider 4-1 to a 3-2 when Vinicius would push up. Real would look to press in a 5-2-3 shape, with Modric and Vinicius pushing up alongside Benzema to press Chelsea's back three in their defensive third, which was largely effective at forcing Chelsea's back line into a long ball upfield. However, despite Madrid doing a good job of closing up the space between the lines, when they were able to drop off into their own half, Chelsea were able to exploit the space in behind Madrid's midfield when there was a quick transition in Chelsea's half, and this is where Werner's big chance in the first 10 minutes came from. A stray pass from Casemiro landed at Mount's feet, and you can see Modric is between the lines. Kroos is pulled over to the left side, leaving a massive space in Madrid's midfield. Mount does excellently to glide past Militao, and now he's running at Madrid's back line, with Werner ahead making a run. The move culminates in Pulisic's header across the box from Mount's deflected shot, and Werner should score but was denied by a very good save from Courtois. Madrid was sitting off Chelsea when the ball moved into their half, allowing Chelsea's centre-backs time on the ball. However, Real's midfield was positioned too high, considering there was no pressure on the ball at all, and this subsequently forced their backline to be too high as well to close up the space between the lines. This then allows Rudiger to play a lofted pass over the Madrid backline to find Pulisic's diagonal run in behind. Nacho should track Pulisic's run, but he doesn't, and the American shows excellent composure to round Courtois and then finish past the two players on the line to give Chelsea the lead. Real Madrid's best way of transitioning their attack also came from counter-attacking quickly when they won the ball in their own half. Benzema would drop off from the forward line, providing Real Madrid's central midfielders the option of a direct vertical pass into his feet. Because Benzema was in space, he could often turn link the attack by laying off the ball to midfielders behind, and then Real would be able to drive into Chelsea's half. However, the Real Madrid equaliser came from a well-worked set piece. Kroos's corner was played short and ended up with Marcelo in this deeper, narrower position, and he's floated cross to the back post, is headed across the box by Casemiro, beating Azpilicueta in the air. Rudiger should have dropped off when Marcelo put the ball into the box, as now he's ahead of the ball and can't win a header from Casemiro's header across the box. The ball gets flicked onto Benzema, who controls the ball in his head before volleying the ball into the roof of the net to put Madrid back on level terms. Throughout the first half, we saw that Real Madrid's positioning in possession was very fluid. We would often see Carvajal and Marcelo moving in field when Modric or Kroos would shift wider to offer a passing option wide of Chelsea's narrow pentagon. This allowed Madrid to get both Kroos and Modric on the ball more often, as if they retained central positions, this would have allowed Jorginho and Kante to easily press them. Chelsea's midfield functioned a little differently in possession, with Kante and Jorginho playing as a double pivot, but often Jorginho would drop off to receive the ball from the back line. Chelsea were also having joy playing through Madrid's high press with quick passes, with Kante often breaking beyond the Real Madrid midfield, which was Chelsea's main source of ball progression into Real Madrid's defensive third. Going into half-time, Zidane must have been aware that when the Madrid midfield pushed up to press, Mount and Pulisic were getting far too much space in between the lines, and so in the second half, Militao and Nacho were instructed to be a lot more assertive when pushing out of the back line to close down these players in behind the midfield, and you could see an instant improvement in Madrid's ability to stop Chelsea's attack progressing. We did see Marcelo play a lot more as an inverted wing back, pushing into the left central midfield position in possession, as Kroos would drop into a left-sided centre-back position to receive the ball, which in turn would allow Nacho to push forward like a traditional left-back would, meaning that there was a triangle on Madrid's left side that was very interchangeable, with Modric and Carvajal doing a similar thing on the right side as well. Whilst Chelsea were primarily looking to counter quickly to launch their attacks, Madrid began to sit deeper, with Modric here positioned very deep, closing off the space for Mount, but happy to allow Rudiger to have the ball in this quarterback-like position. In my Chelsea transfer series, I spoke about the importance of incisive and long passing ability from these wide centre-back positions, and you can see who I suggested Chelsea sign in this position and why I think they'd be an improvement on Rudiger by watching my Chelsea transfer series, which will be linked in the description. From here, both sides managed to cancel each other out with their deep, compact 5-at-the-back systems. Real Madrid were really lacking options in the half spaces in the build-up, as Modric and Kroos often dropped deep, Vinicius would hold his advanced width, and Casemiro would take up an advanced central position, but Real couldn't work the ball through the midfield into players between the lines, and this meant they couldn't transition the attack quickly, and this allowed Chelsea's midfield to drop back behind the ball, closing up this space. Hazard did come on for Madrid, and unlike Vinicius, who was holding his width, looking for long balls in behind, down the left channel, Hazard was moving in field into the half spaces that I was talking about. However, he did struggle to get in the game, and Jorginho did a pretty good job of dropping deeper to cut off the pass into Hazard. The second half didn't really have any clear-cut openings, but it was clear where the danger would likely come from in the second leg. For Chelsea, the quick transition in attack against Madrid seems to be the most promising because Madrid's midfield pushed so high up the pitch during the press that Mount, Kante or Pulisic can receive the ball in behind the midfield or dribble past the Madrid midfield into this space, then Chelsea can get at Madrid's back line and into their attacking third with Werner and Pulisic making runs in behind. Real Madrid's attacking threat came from either a quick vertical pass into Benzema to link the attack after a turnover, or a long pass over the top of Christensen for a Vinicius run down the left channel. However, we didn't see Madrid use Vinicius as effectively as they did against Trent Alexander-Arnold and Liverpool. In the second half, Madrid need to be wary of the space in behind their midfield, as when Casemiro and co push up the field, it leaves a massive space for Pulisic and Mount to drift into, and even allows Chelsea's deeper players like Kante to break into this space with quick interplay around Madrid's press, maybe instructing Militao and Nacho to be more assertive when pushing out of the back line as they were in the second half, and doing so earlier will close off this passing lane from the source. I also think that Zidane should have used an advanced playmaker in this system, whether that's Hazard moving in field from the left side, or someone like Isco maintaining a higher position between the lines, as Madrid often lack an option to transition the attack quickly when Benzema is not available, or when the play is on the other side from where he's positioned. Having a player like Hazard who can act as a forward passing option is going to allow Real to transition their attack quicker before Chelsea's midfield can drop behind the play. Chelsea are probably the better off of the two going into the second leg with the away goal that they have. Sitting up similarly in a 5-3-2 defensive shape I think is a way forward. Marcelo looks like he may be available for the game, and if he starts, Chelsea should use Reece James at right wing back, as I think James's powerful dribbling and off the ball running can cause Madrid problems down the left side with Marcelo and Nacho. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get notified when my videos come out. Check out some of my other videos which will all be linked in the description. Follow me on my other social media accounts as well. Give the video a like and put your thoughts in the comments section below as well.